You know that feeling when you're sitting in silence and your mind starts spinning stories, stories about why it didn't work, why they left, why it always seems like you're the one who gives more. That voice in your head starts whispering, maybe if I were different, maybe if I were prettier, maybe if I had said less or said more, and before you know it, you're shrinking inside your own mind, trying to edit yourself in hindsight for someone who already made their choice. But here's the truth most people don't say out loud. If someone couldn't see your worth, it was never your job to convince them. It's not your responsibility to teach someone how to love you. It's not your job to audition for someone's attention. You're not here to beg for what should be freely offered. You don't have to earn someone's effort when you've already been showing up with yours, and maybe that's the real heartbreak, isn't it? Not the loss of them, but the realization that you stayed too long trying to be enough for someone who was never willing to meet you halfway, that you bent and broke and waited, that you made excuses for their absence, rationalized their silence, filled in the gaps where their love should have been. But what if I told you that your desire to give isn't a weakness, that your capacity to care isn't a flaw, that your big heart isn't something to tone down, but something to protect? You've got to stop shaming yourself for loving deeply. That's who you are, and that's beautiful, but loving deeply doesn't mean tolerating half love in return. You can flirt and still keep your standards. You can be warm without being walked over. You can be open without handing over your peace. Real strength isn't about being cold or guarded. It's about having the courage to stay soft and still know when to walk away. So if you're someone who feels like you're always the one trying harder, always the one reaching out, always the one hoping they'll finally get it, pause, take a breath, ask yourself, what am I chasing? Am I trying to get love, or am I trying to get validation that I'm worth loving? There's a difference, because when you're trying to get love, you're open, receptive, connected. But when you're trying to get validation, you're negotiating your worth based on someone else's approval. You're tying your self-esteem to how quickly they text back. You're evaluating your beauty based on how much attention they give you, and that's a dangerous game, because you will always lose when your value depends on someone else's recognition of it. Here's the secret they don't tell you. Confidence doesn't come from being wanted. It comes from knowing you don't need to be. It comes from standing tall in your truth, even when they're too blind to see it. It comes from saying, I'm still enough, even if you never choose me. And the moment you truly believe that, everything changes. You stop sending paragraphs to someone who only replies with a sentence. You stop rearranging your schedule for someone who won't make time for you. You stop convincing yourself that mixed signals mean effort. You stop interpreting emotional breadcrumbs as a feast. You stop mistaking your anxiety for attraction. And most importantly, you stop calling it connection when it's actually just chaos. When you flirt from a place of wholeness, it's magnetic, because it's not about trying to get someone to like you. It's about showing up in your truth and letting the right person be drawn to that. It's not performance, it's presence. You flirt not to be chosen, but to express joy. You connect not to fill a void, but to share what's already overflowing in you. Think about the last time someone made you feel safe, not just seen. The last time you felt free to be your full self, goofy, thoughtful, loud, soft, whatever you are, without wondering if it was too much. That's the kind of connection you deserve. That's the kind of space you should be holding out for. But you'll never find it if you keep entertaining people who only want access to your body, not your soul. You can't keep settling for the idea of love. You deserve the real thing. You deserve someone who texts back not just out of obligation, but excitement. Someone who remembers the little things you say, not because they're trying to impress you, but because they actually care. Someone who doesn't just say, I want you, but also says, I choose you, consistently. Someone who doesn't disappear when things get real. Someone who doesn't make you feel like you're hard to love. You are not hard to love, but you've been trying to get love from people who are still at war with themselves. And here's something most people miss. You can't win someone over who hasn't even won themselves yet. You can't make someone see your value when they're still blind to their own. So you've got to stop dimming your light to make others comfortable in their darkness. Stop twisting yourself into something you're not just to avoid being alone. Loneliness isn't the enemy. Settling is. And if you're afraid that no one will love you if you show up as your full, honest, untamed self, let me say this: the people who are scared of your fire were never meant to walk through life with you. Don't extinguish your flame to keep someone else warm. The right person will come with their own fire, and together you'll build something even stronger. And I get it. Being single, being in between, being unseen, can feel like a void. But it's also the place where you meet yourself, where you remember who you are, where you stop being shaped by who stays and who leaves, and start being defined by how you show up for yourself regardless of either. Start being the kind of partner you want to attract. Love yourself with the same energy you're so willing to give away. Show up for yourself even when no one else does. Flirt with life. Fall in love with your own energy. Take yourself out. Make the first move with your dreams. Compliment yourself in the mirror. Be proud of who you're becoming. You don't need anyone to complete you. You're not missing pieces. You're rediscovering parts that got buried under years of trying to be what others wanted. And when you finally realize that, you stop settling. You start radiating. And the people who are meant for you, they feel it. They recognize you. They rise to meet you, not because you begged, not because you chased, but because you became so rooted in your worth that only the worthy could reach you. That's power. That's peace. That's the new standard.